Probably every country except the English-speaking ones know this. You're watching a movie and your brain suddenly goes, I know this voice. Where do I know this voice from? You keep watching and all of a sudden it hits you. It's Dr. House's voice. Yeah. We relate the voices to other characters with the same voice actors. We usually have no clue who the voice actors themselves actually are. The funny thing about this is, often voice actors are actually real actors themselves, but when we see them in a production, their voices don't always ring the same bell as they do when we hear their voices as a dubbing voice. Instead, because we actually see them really talking, we just don't get it. Or worse, if we do recognize their voices, we still won't be recalling the actor's name in the future. We just go, oh, that's the guy who gave his voice to Dr. House. When I say we, then I mean the majority. Of course there must be exceptions, but I myself have always had the feeling that people around me usually don't care as much as I do. So here are my reasons why I don't like watching dubbed productions. Number 1. I'm not sure why so little people are bothered when the actor's lips are somehow off sync with the words. And yeah, I mean when and not if. Of course they usually are. If you're lucky, there are words that go well with one or the other language. Like house is Haus in German, or mouse is Maus in German. They sound identical. I should probably consider German-speaking people lucky, since at least similar words exist. It's a whole other story with, for example, Asian language that include tones and sounds we ourselves are not even able to imitate. Number 2. Probably because there are not as many good voice actors as actors spread throughout all the movies and series, it's inevitable that you stumble across the same voices all the time. The same 20 are like everywhere. Number 3. Which leads to further problems. For example, what do they do if two actors who share one voice actor happen to be in the same movie? They of course give the slightly less famous actor a new voice actor, just for the one movie. Of course that's less irritating than just letting one voice actor speak both parts, but still, imagine Jim Parsons suddenly gets a new voice. Number 4. Also, it happens that voice actors die surprisingly. They of course are replaced, which means main characters suddenly get new voices from one season to the next. I know it seems insensitive to complain about that when someone died. I'm not saying the death of a human is not the sadder part. It's just one factor adding up to the whole watching dubbed stuff. Number 5. I so much enjoy different dialects and accents. Imagine Julia Garner in Ozark without the Missouri accent, or even worse, Jamie Fraser in Outlander without the Scottish accent. To relate to it, you can actually imagine all the movies robbed of accents. Every line in Columbus, Ohio English. It's supposedly the clearest American English, so I've read. Number 6. Now sometimes they do cast voice actors with distinctive German accents to desperately match the effect of a character's English accent, which might turn a typically southern accent into a Bavarian accent, and I find that silly and weird. Number 7. Probably the worst thing about dubbing is that they actually change sentences, even in their meanings, just to fit them into the lip movements. Here a few random samples. Outlander Season 1 Episode 3, around 24 minutes and 24 seconds. In English they say, it just keeps getting worse. This is translated into Jetzt sind es zwei Weibsstücke.
Jetzt sind es zwei Weibsstücke.
Which means, now it's two bins, or women. In Stranger Things, Season 1, Episode 3, around 10 minutes and 36 seconds, they say, you're being paranoid.
You're being paranoid.
This is translated into, du schiebst zu viel Panik.
Du schiebst zu viel Panik.
Which means, you're panicking too much. In The Witcher, Season 1, Episode 1, around 35 minutes and 45 seconds, they say, "My sweet child,"
Sweet child.
which is translated into "törichtes Kind,"
Törichtes Kind.
which means silly child. It probably seems nitpicking, but keep in mind I have found these 3 examples within 15 minutes. I recall being baffled about some of their much worse choices of translation a lot of times. Number 8. You might have heard that German has a formal mode of addressing someone. Sie instead of du, both meaning you, singular, which we use when talking to people we don't know or with whom we want to maintain a higher degree of formality. Now, when they translate a production where an initially formal and platonic relationship is about to convert into a romantic or a sexual one, they have to decide when the 2 characters in question switch from sie to du. It's really absurd to watch that. Usually they do the switch either after they kissed or at latest after they had sex. In reality, this is just never the case. The switch usually happens in the process of getting to know someone better. So this is a very weird thing to see, that people still say sie just a few seconds before they have sex. For all those reasons, I eventually stopped watching dubbed productions. Since most of them are in English, this keeps me used to hearing it. In fact, today I understand English better than ever before, amongst other things thanks to Netflix.